No one tells you this, but reaching your 60s can feel strangely quiet. The kids are grown, work slows down or ends, your calendar doesn't feel as full as it once did. And you start asking yourself, is this it? If that question has ever crossed your mind, even quietly, this video is for you. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Celine Hall. I'm a mom of 2, a nana to 3 grandchildren, and we live in beautiful British Columbia, Canada. And I want to say this right here at the start. There is nothing wrong with you for asking that question. Asking, is this it, doesn't mean you're ungrateful. It doesn't mean you failed. And it definitely doesn't mean you're done. It means you're aware. And awareness is often the beginning of most meaningful chapters in our lives. Today, I want to talk about finding purpose after 60, not in a motivational poster way, not in a reinvent the whole life overnight way, but in a grounded, real confidence building way. Because purpose after 60 looks different than it did earlier in our lives. And that difference isn't something to fear. It's something to lean into. Most of our adult lives are structured around being needed for our kids, for our jobs, for our schedules, responsibilities, and expectations. And then one day, that noise fades. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but quietly. The kids don't need us the same way as they did. Work slows down or it ends completely. People stop asking for your input as often, and no one really prepares you for that shift. Instead, you're expected to be grateful. And you probably are, but gratitude and longing can exist at the same time. You can love your life and still feel unsettled. What many people experience after 60 isn't boredom, it's the loss of identity. When your role changes, it's natural to ask, who am I now? What do I contribute now? What's my place in this next season? And too often, people keep those questions to themselves. Most of us were taught that purpose comes from productivity, from titles, from paychecks, from being busy and needed. So when those things slow down, it can feel like purpose disappears with them. But here's the truth. No one says out loud. Purpose doesn't end after 60. It simply stops being borrowed. Earlier in life, purpose is often assigned to us. Raise the kids, build the career, pay the bills, do what's expected. Later in life, purpose becomes chosen. And that shift can feel uncomfortable at first because it requires listening to yourself. But it's also where real freedom begins. My turning point didn't come with fireworks or fanfare. It was quiet. I realized I had done everything I was supposed to do, and yet something still felt unfinished. Not because my life was bad, but because I had changed. I didn't want to just wind down my life. I wanted to expand it differently, with intention, with peace, with choices. I wanted to feel confident about my future, not just hopeful. That realization changed everything for me. What does purpose really look like after 60? Purpose after 60 doesn't look like hustle, that's for sure. It doesn't look like proving anything to anybody, and it doesn't look like keeping up with the people half your age. It shows up in a quieter, stronger way. Let me share 3 of them. Number 1, purpose through contribution. Not staying busy for the sake of being busy, but contributing where your experience matters. You've lived through things, you've made mistakes, you've learned from lessons that only time can teach. Purpose comes from using that wisdom and not exhausting yourself. Number 2, purpose through creation. This surprises a lot of people. Purpose can come from learning something new, from creating something meaningful, from building something even digitally that didn't exist before. Not to prove you still have it, but because growth doesn't expire. Learning keeps your mind alive. Creation keeps your confidence alive. And confidence changes how you see the future. Number 3, purpose through choice. This may be the most powerful one. For the first time, many people get to ask, what do I want to do now? Not what's expected, not what's practical, not what keeps everyone else comfortable, but what aligns with what you want. Purpose after 60 is less about obligation and more about alignment. Purpose, confidence, and potential. For me, purpose didn't come from slowing down. It came from rebuilding confidence, from learning skills that reminded me I could still grow, still learn, still create something meaningful. Not pressure, not hustle, just potential. This stage of life isn't about having everything figured out. It's about giving yourself permission to build potential again. Potential for income, yes, but also potential for confidence, peace of mind, and choices. Why this stage is actually a gift. Here's what makes this chapter so powerful. You're no longer chasing approval. You're no longer proving yourself. You're no longer building someone else's dream by default. You have perspective, you have boundaries, and you know what you don't want. And that clarity is priceless. This isn't the end of your story. It's the chapter where you finally get the pen. What stops most people from stepping into purpose after 60? Fear of being judged, fear of starting something new, fear of what will people think. But here's the truth. No one is watching as closely as you think. And the people who matter, they want to see you alive, not shrinking. You are allowed to want more peace, more meaning, and more options in your life without apology. And if you're in this stage of life wondering what's next, and you don't even know where to start, you don't have to figure this all out alone. I've created a free community called Retirement Freedom Seekers. It's a space where I help people learn simple digital skills, not to overwhelm them, but to help them build potential, confidence, and options for this next chapter. You don't need experience. You don't need a plan. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need curiosity. Purpose doesn't disappear after 60. It becomes honest, it becomes intentional, it becomes yours. You're not too late, you're not behind, and you're not asking far too much. You're standing at the beginning of a chapter you finally get to design for yourself. If this video resonates with you, I'd love to hear from you. What does purpose mean to you right now? You'll find my link to the Retirement Freedom Seekers community in the description below. Be sure to like and subscribe and put in the comments, "I've subscribed." I'll be sure to respond to each one of your comments. Thank you so much for being here.